Hey everybody, what's up? Circus here coming at you with another pre-release Zexal video. Tonight, Ryan and I were on stream on Twitch. Actually, we're still streaming right now. We were testing out more Zexal cards against the old meta, and I'll get some gameplay footage going for you right now. And I would have to say, from what we've seen so far, it's not going to break the meta. What do you think, Ryan?
Yeah, so like the best part of Zexal kind of coming out is the access to the staples that we'll be getting. So DD Crow, Fiendish Chain, Scriptures, all of that is being added to the game, which is really, really nice. But the actual Zexal archetypes that we've gotten so far are not really super powerful. They're just kind of okay at best. Now this is coming in again with limited knowledge. The only deck building we've really done is asking Twitch chat, hey, what should we build? You know, we're not a deck building or anything like that. Also, limited skills. I can't use things like balance or anything like that, so we don't know how that would impact it. We also don't have new Zexal skills, and then of course the new ban list, which should be launching a couple days after Zexal, hopefully, which is but for us is immediately put into play as soon as it comes out.
But it wasn't like when For Hire came out or when Dark Lords finally got their support. All of a sudden it's like, oh my god, even in its unoptimized form, these decks are killing everybody. We haven't seen that yet.
The best thing that we've seen is decks that already existed before, Yosenjus and Heroes, being able to be played better because they can spam the new Xyz monsters we get, which I suppose is a win in itself. Because the actual core cards, the Zexal cards, the Xyz monsters are being able to be spammed, which is really cool. But of course, yes, this is the first wave support. We also don't have cards that specifically say Xyz in the name, really, except a couple of ones. So we'll have to kind of see how that pans out for the most part. Yeah. But yeah, without a ban list, the meta is not going to shift too crazy much. We'll just kind of get decks that have been playing before and been able to spam Blackwing, Heroes, Yosenjus. They'll just be able to spam better extra deck monsters than they could before. That's kind of where we're headed to right now.
So it seemed like when you were playing, was it the TellarKnights and the Bujins decks? Those seemed really slow compared to the pre-existing decks like the Yosenjus and the Heroes.
Well, so the Bujin one I can kind of give a pass because I don't have Show of Nightmares and I don't have Spell Specialist.
Okay.
So I think that one's going to be determinant more on the skills. So that one's gonna require more of in-game testing rather than simulated testing. Or if they add the skill, then we'll get more simulated testing. So I'm not ready to pass judgment on that one yet. The TellarKnight one is pretty much, from what I've seen, a more of a back row deck. And unfortunately, in the game of back row, it's just better to be able to bring out Purgatrio. That's kind of what the meta relies on when you go heavy back row. And of course, Casitas is such, is really, really bad for you as well. So going like a pure TellarKnight is definitely, I don't think, going to be the way. If there is going to be a viable TellarKnight deck, at this point, I can comfortably say that it's going to be kind of either a hybrid or a skill that I don't have access to in the simulator to test out. Because on their own, if they're just Xyz spamming, they're going to be good against any deck that doesn't run back row. But at the moment you start running any back row, it's just not going to work out. So.
Now, the other thing I wanted to bring up was the actual XYZ monsters. The best one, in your opinion, so far was what, the Utopia?
The best one, I mean, I guess it depends. Utopia is really good because you can negate an attack, which is really cool.
Which we see a lot in the gameplay footage here. You summoned Utopia quite a bit and was able to use it.
The problem with him is he's 25. The Gaga one's pretty good for going all in, that you can OTK with that one. So if you run any True Nade decks, that one's going to be really good. You get 2 swings of 1900 damage on the board. The Cowboy could be okay. It depends on if he gets nerfed or not in dueling. So that I'm still kind of unsure of what they're going to do with Cowboy, if they're going to nerf his effect damage.
But just now on the screen, there was an interesting effect that maybe we could bring up. You had 2 Utopia on the field, and one of the Utopia had all of its materials gone, and the other one had 2 materials, and I attacked into the one that had none. So when it has none and it gets attacked, it gets destroyed.
Oh no, I hit X on that. So
okay.
I can still get your attack. I just didn't, and you didn't.
Gives me a replay, and I attacked into the one that had 2 materials. And since I'm not declaring an attack, it destroyed it. Yeah,
I could have negated your attack, but I did not, and you still destroyed it.
Okay, so that was an interesting tidbit of knowledge there.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I guess Utopia could be one of the better generic threes, but I still think Gaga Samurai is going to be the one more used for OTK and stuff. That being said, you know, like any like combo heavy deck heroes, the hero deck that we played really worked out very well. You know, and then of course in heroes, if they play something like balance, they're going to be able to get more of their traps and mass changes and stuff like that. So it'll be interesting to see where that kind of comes into play. And then of course all these decks I couldn't play certain cards like Kite Road and stuff weren't available in the sim, so I couldn't play those cards at all. And I do believe that Kite Road would have been really good in the Bujin deck as well. So it's kind of, I think at this point with the new box coming out in terms of a new archetype taking over, it's going to come down to Bujins kind of to do it, because TellarKnights are going to be more, unless there's someone out there with a build that I haven't seen yet. Of the ones that I have tried, they don't really stand up to heavy back row disruption, and that's just the meta that we're in right now. So unless you plan on playing Hatred, which is something you could do, I think there's also better Hatred decks though, is the problem. So we'll have to see.
So all the people that are getting excited about Bujins, do not go into the older boxes before this comes out.
Yeah, wait until people test for you. There's gonna be a tournament on Tuesday. You'll have all those results right in front of you. There's no reason for you to invest early. You can just wait and see.
Because we're seeing a lot of that in our Discord where people are already like planning how they're gonna buy into the Bujin.
What you should be excited about is the actual XC's monsters that came out are going to be played. And that's super cool. That's more than Synchros got. You know, like Synchros, literally the game did not change at all. So the XCs that are coming out will be played in certain decks, and you will probably be in the top 8 deck list that you see. Beyond that, I'm not comfortable yet in saying, yes, this archetype is going to be relevant, or this archetype is going to be relevant. Like, if you can't even be a basic Neos or an Element Saber deck, it's just not going to work out. You know what I mean? So let's wait for the ban list. Let's wait for the skills. Let's wait for everything to come in one package. And then, and only then, can we really say what the meta is actually going to look like at that point.
Right, and we're not trying to declare a meta right now either, though. We just wanted to get some initial testing done just to get an idea. And like we said, I don't think it's going to be groundbreaking, but it's definitely going to be relevant, which is what we wanted. You know, a lot of people like, we want the meta to change, and it very well could, depending on the ban list. But what I didn't want to have happen is that this box comes in and just automatically is tier 0 and just destroys everything, because I think there's going to be a lot of players that aren't going to be able to buy into the box right away, that would just be like, what do I do with my Arrow Mage deck? You know, and just can't keep up, you know. So I think that it's good that it's not going to just initially just completely destroy the meta. But ban list, events, all that stuff we mentioned before.
There could be all sorts of stuff that comes out. There could be more. Remember Witchcrafters, when we reviewed them, they were awful, and then they got the Teo support event, and it just became amazing. Like, these cards are just like, really, this is what you needed for the deck to be good. So, you know, that could happen again with TellarKnights.
Yep. So stay tuned. We're gonna keep testing, and we'll keep letting you guys know. And Zexal is right around the corner. I hope you're hyped for it, because I know we are.
There you go, boys.
All right. You guys know what to do at this point in the video, but the most important thing you can do is get in our Discord, because that's where we host all our tournaments, and you'll be notified about them when they happen. So, first Zexal tournament, I believe, is going to be right here. I mean, we're going to hold one. We might not be the first, but we're going to try damn hard to be the first.
Yeah,
so
I think we'll be the first one where people actually get to play with the deck before playing it.
Yeah. All right, guys. So we're going to get out of here. I'm Circus. That's Rye.
Bye, YouTube, again.
Yeah, we'll see you next time.